Alright, welcome back for another video. It is December 14th, 2024. Bitcoin is $101,431 per coin as of the recording of this video. Bitcoin's sitting nicely over 100K at just over 101,000 with a market cap of over 2 trillion, more valuable than all but 5 companies in the world, so 5 of the Magnificent 7 stocks, and gold have larger market caps than Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has a larger market cap than everything else. And the reason for this video, I wanted to explain the Cold War happening with Bitcoin, with Forbes dropping a few pretty crazy articles. This first one here, Trump confirms Bitcoin reserve plans, $15 trillion price boom predicted. This is again Forbes digital assets. So the Bitcoin price has rocketed past 100,000 per coin on the back of Trump's November election. And an influential billionaire warns of a looming debt crisis that could collapse the US dollar as Trump plans to establish a US Bitcoin reserve. He goes on to talk about how he doesn't want China or anyone else embracing it, and if they do, we want to be ahead. And this would be similar to the oil reserve. We have Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis introducing a bill to buy 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years to reduce the spiraling $35 trillion in national debt. Which brings me to this next Forbes article here. Fed dollar crisis warning spurs sudden $100,000 Bitcoin price surge. The Bitcoin price, up almost 150% over the last 12 months, has surged after the latest US inflation data showed prices are rising at rates expected by economists, putting a Federal Reserve interest rate cut back on the table for next week. That would be the last rate cut of the year. Ahead of the latest CPI data, the influential billionaire investor Ray Dalio warned of a looming debt crisis, which he expects will trigger a sharp decline in the value of the US dollar. He goes on to say that this is a big problem. The US debt has soared over recent years, topping $34 trillion at the beginning of 2024. Now, you can see we are $36,227,344,000,000 in debt, and this problem is just getting exponentially worse. And you can use this website, look at the time machine. So let's say 4 years ago, we were at 29 trillion. So in the span of 4 years, the debt has gone up by, that has gone up by about 7 trillion in 4 years. This will continue to get worse more and more rapidly, like a snowball effect, similar to interest accruing in a savings account or a stock portfolio. The opposite effect here is accumulation of debt. So obviously it goes both ways. And we're seeing leaders around the world take notice, billionaires, politicians, see the writing on the wall, and also noticing Bitcoin soaring to be more valuable than all but 5 companies, and gold, along with this dollar crisis, paired with Trump, the leader of, arguably the most, the most powerful country in the world, is leading others to start looking at Bitcoin more closely. And going back to this first article, Donald Trump has firmly embraced Bitcoin and crypto this year, as a leak reveals Russia could be about to start a Bitcoin Cold War. Which brings me to this next article. Forbes really on fire. Leak reveals Russia's bid for Bitcoin reserve amid huge 2025 price predictions. Bitcoin, after rocketing through 2024, has bounced around 100K over the last week as traders brace for the next price bombshell. Bitcoin price has so far held onto its huge 2024 gains, with bets rising on an explosive 2025 as Trump and Elon Musk return to the front lines of crypto. Now, like we just spoke about, the US Treasury named Bitcoin digital gold. So this is something Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said. I believe someone asked him what he thought about Bitcoin in relation to the dollar, and he says he views the Bitcoin network more as a competitor to gold, calling it digital gold. Now, that argument can be made. I think that Bitcoin is coming for gold as a store of value, but I also believe that people will start storing more and more of their wealth in Bitcoin as opposed to dollars along with gold. Russia's President Vladimir Putin described Bitcoin as an unstoppable technology and endorsed its potential as a global reserve asset earlier this month following the huge Bitcoin price boom. So I brought this up before. In February of 2022, we know what happened with Russia and their invasion of Ukraine, and the US seized, I think, 300 billion in assets from Russia. Of course, whether you agree with what Russia did or not, you know, one country being able to just essentially cut off or turn off money from another country is not going to go well. And other countries notice this. They don't want their money to be turned off by the United States. Russia doesn't have to control all the money. They just don't want it to be controlled by someone else. So we see sort of a Cold War here beginning with leaders of the United States and Russia planning to accumulate Bitcoin. Putin said at a recent economic summit that Bitcoin can't be banned, and he's starting to see, the positive qualities of Bitcoin. And along with Trump, this is just pretty mind blowing. And we see two of the most powerful countries starting a Cold War with accumulating Bitcoin. If this goes through with Trump and Cynthia Lummis, this Bitcoin strategic reserve plan, and if Russia starts accumulating Bitcoin, they likely probably already have. Why would they tell us? You know what I mean? And this all comes at the same time that MicroStrategy enters the NASDAQ 100, which is pretty mind blowing. I remember MicroStrategy was only $2 billion market cap not that long ago. I think it's over 90 now. Um, he'll be joining Palantir and Axon Enterprise into the NASDAQ 100, I think December 23rd, if I'm not mistaken, so later this month. And MicroStrategy's been on a tear accumulating Bitcoin. They now hold over 423, almost 427, sorry, almost 424,000 Bitcoin. And we just see big players, billionaires warning of a dollar crisis. US President Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin beginning what seems to be a Cold War to accumulate Bitcoin due to the deficit of the United States, as well as the United States, along with just printing money out of thin air, just turning off other nations' money when they see fit. We'll continue to keep an eye out on this, and it's just very interesting to see the game theory play out here. And hope everyone has enough Bitcoin because we now have countries coming for it. Of course, we have billionaires like Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy trying to accumulate all the Bitcoin as well. And ETFs, I believe, have over 1 million Bitcoin US ETFs. So just get some while you still can while it's still at a reasonable price of $101,431 before Trump, Putin, Michael Saylor, BlackRock, and everyone else sends the price to $1 million per coin. If you guys like the content, please give the video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications for the latest Bitcoin news. Thank you.